Hello chat. It's Q&A time. Before I begin, I just want to say that I have all the questions pulled up on my monitor, which is like over here. So if you see me looking over there, that's why. Okay, the first question is, what are your favorite movies and shows? And this is kind of hard for me to answer because the truth is I really don't watch much. And I know that that irritates a number of people in my life. But I don't know. I feel like to answer this question, I would literally have to like pull up my Letterboxd. Cause like I can't even remember. Should I go do that? Okay, low-key kind of pathetic, but I did have to pull up my account to remember what my favorite movies are. But now I do remember. I feel like my taste in movies is kind of all over the place. Like I'm looking at the ones that I rated 5 stars. Princess Mononoke, the Barbie movie, which I would not consider one of my favorite movies, but apparently I gave it 5 stars when I saw it. Both the Spider-Verse movies, which I mean like, those are incredible. Those are movies that I think every human being should see. Oh, Batman Returns, one of my favorite movies of all time. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. The original Ghostbusters, the Lethal Weapon movies, but especially 1 and 2. And then I mean like, obviously within that, like, yeah, 1 is the best movie, but like 2 is also actually a really good movie. Oh, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I've actually seen, now that I'm looking at this, I have seen way more movies than I thought I did. Oh, the first Hellraiser movie. Specifically Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. I don't know why that one's my favorite. I think probably because it's kind of stupid. And then shows, I really don't know. I used to love Bob's Burgers when it first came out. I haven't seen it in years, so I have no idea what the new episodes are like, but the first like 7 seasons or so are pretty good. I feel like this might be surprising, but I really love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. All the Mike Flanagan stuff, like Hill House, Bly Manor, I loved all of those. I thought those were all pretty good, so. The next question, and this is one that like the second I got the notification that somebody left this comment, my eyes lit up. I was so excited to answer this. The question is, do you like RPGs? I do. So you actually can't see it like in the frame here, but on my other shelf, I have a bunch of World of Warcraft figures. And then actually also on this shelf, I have a bunch of like smaller ones. World of Warcraft is unfortunately probably like my favorite game of all time. At the very least, it's definitely my most played video game of all time. I think I genuinely probably have several thousand hours played over the course of, oh god, the last 13 years of my life. I have an entire shelf on my bookshelf next to me that is just a World of Warcraft shelf. I'm trying to think of other RPGs I played. Baldur's Gate 3, one of the best games of all time. I mean, of course, I've played Skyrim. I actually haven't played Oblivion and Morrowind. I do own them though. I'm also in the middle of trying to work my way through the entirety of the Witcher series, which I haven't gotten very far in. But I do intend on going back to that. I don't really have any experience with like JRPGs though. I don't really know anything about them. I don't think I've ever actually even played one except for like I very briefly played a little bit of Final Fantasy XIV. I did briefly consider playing the original version of Final Fantasy VII when the remake came out. Maybe I will have to at some point. Okay, my friend Alice left a ton of questions. The first one says, who is the coolest and most epic out of Cant? Which is our 4-person group chat. I'm going to be honest, probably you, Alice. And then that's really funny though, because her next question is, why isn't it me? It is. It is you. Will you share any hot takes? Apparently I already have. And I do plan on continuing to do so. So stay tuned for those. What's your favorite fashion style at the moment? I'm gonna say that I've been really into like something between like late 90s skater dude and early to mid 2000s crusty older brother. But that's probably what I've been into lately, and I feel like you can probably tell by looking at me. Not by looking at my surroundings, mind you. Dream vacation. I don't know that there's any one particular place that like I really want to go to, like over anywhere else that I want to go. I mean, I think for me, like going to Italy, and I mean like particularly going to Rome, was probably one of my dream vacations, and I did end up being fortunate enough to do that a couple years ago. So I'm trying to think what the next thing up on the list would be. I mean, I guess like Japan would probably be really cool. I also think that like going to like Hawaii would be really cool if that was like possible to do ethically. At least at the moment, and given the fact that like I don't personally know any people like indigenous to Hawaii or anything that I would be like visiting, I don't think that it would be. I think picking travel destinations is also like a little bit difficult for me, just because I think one of the big draws that a lot of people have for traveling is like definitely food. And I will say, living in New York, I am extremely blessed to have a very wide variety of like authentic cultural cuisine available to me very readily. Why do they call it oven when you of in the cold food, of out, hot eat the food? Alice's last question is, any goals for the channel? I definitely, this might sound weird, I definitely do have like personal goals for myself, like relating to this channel, but I don't really know if I have any like actual goals for the channel itself. I mean, there definitely is obviously like the like the pipe dream goal of like someday maybe being able to earn even the most minuscule amount of money from this, just because being a disabled person who can't really work, or at least not any like normal jobs, I definitely would like to have any money at all. That would be nice. Having money is good in general, but especially because I really don't want to be 22 and still living with my parents. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with that, but these people. Okay, my other friend 10 also has a ton of questions for me. So first, what would you do if you grew a giant turnip in your garden, like a really large one, like a truly gargantuan beast of a root vegetable? Because if it's like a car-sized turnip or something, I feel like I would hang up posters all around town and say that I was like having an event at my house, like on a day at a time, where like everybody can take their own chunk of the turnip. And I guess I would hope that people would show up and maybe everybody could hack off some of the turnip with like a saw or something, and people could just take home as much turnip as they could possibly fit in their vehicles. Do you consider yourself more Shadow the Hedgehog or more Gomez Adams? Definitely probably Shadow the Hedgehog, because he's kind of mean. Number 3 is... So I guess my answer to that is probably... Would you consider making Minecraft videos? I don't know. I think maybe like a world tour or something like that would be kind of fun. So yeah, maybe. How many fingers am I holding up? 12. Which is the best color out of all 3? I know you want me to say orange. I know you do. I know that's what you want me to say. I'm going to have to say pink though. There's no other answer I can give you. I'm sorry, it's pink. Can I put you in drag? Yes. How many fingers am I holding down? 3. Truth or dare? I always pick truth, mostly just because I can't be bothered to do anything. But also it's kind of like cheating for me, because I'm usually completely honest whenever asked any question ever anyway. So, are you a vampire because you suck? Parentheses. I was trying to think of a pickup line, but it felt out of character, so I insulted you. Well, I'm not a vampire, but I do suck. And also, actually, I lied. I am a vampire. Do you plan to stream in the future? This one is actually really funny to me, because not that anyone other than my close friends would know this, but before I actually started uploading videos on this channel, I did stream. That was what I did with my free time. So I would be totally cool with going back to it. The only thing is, sometimes it is a little bit difficult for me, just because, like I said before, I do still live with my family, and they are rather unpredictable, and also always home. So it is a little hard trying to find times where people won't be making some kind of obnoxiously loud noise, or slamming something or yelling about something, so I don't know. But I do want to go back to streaming. When/how did you discover you were queer? I feel like I don't have a very definitive answer to this question. I was very much one of those kids who like the second I found out like what the word gay meant, I was like, yeah, okay, like that's just me, I guess. I do plan on making a video at some point though, like going through some of the labels that I went through, and I guess just kind of like exploring my queer timeline, because I think that could be at least a fun video, if nothing else. But I think maybe it could also be a little bit interesting and perhaps, perchance, a little bit insightful for someone. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I fear I've always just kind of been gay and annoying. What are your favorite story tropes? Okay, this is a good question. I am a huge sucker for like a childhood friends to lovers situation. I love that. Especially if there was some kind of like point in between where like maybe they were best friends as kids and then something horrible happened and then they had to start talking to each other again. Ugh. I love that. I also definitely enjoy stories with an unreliable narrator. That's definitely a thing that I do enjoy. What else? And as lame and cringe as it is, I can't help but admit I am a sucker for a tragic backstory. I can't help it. Do you mainly prefer single flavor ice cream or multi-flavor ice cream? This is a very interesting question and definitely not one that anyone has ever asked me before, and I kind of love it. I think my answer is I like when it's like a single flavor ice cream, but there's like bits of something in it, you know? Mint chocolate chip, it's mint ice cream, like with little chocolate chips in it, as opposed to being mint ice cream and chocolate ice cream. That's the kind of ice cream that I enjoy. Oh, although I will say, if we are talking about multi-flavor ice creams, my favorite definitely is like some kind of orange creamsicle situation. I do love something like that. Will you ever rank all of your subscribers? Probably not. Because I think that would be weird, and also actually just genuinely difficult to do now, which is kind of crazy. But I imagine you're asking this because you want me to say that my favorite subscriber is you. But if we're being fair and judging based on viewership and comment history, I'm probably gonna have to give it to 10 because they leave by far the funniest comments I have ever read in my entire life. Who is the cereal mascot you find yourself most attracted to? My answer, I think, is none of them, but this question immediately reminds me of a couple of weeks ago when one of my friends said that she would put Toucan Sam on her Hear Me Out cake. In an ideal world where you don't have to worry about audience engagement or workload, what kind of videos would you most like to make? I know this is probably going to be a really lame answer, but the answer genuinely is just I would play video games. I would totally be a video game streamer. Do you know how immensely proud I am of you? You're too cute. Stop that right now. But I do, and I appreciate it a lot. So, thank you. And with that, our Q&A session has concluded. Hopefully you learned something interesting about me. And if not, then I guess you'll just have to subscribe to ask questions for the next one. Ooh, okay. No, I'll cut the cameras. What the flip is my hair doing? This has not been a good week for my hair. Probably because I had to wash it in the sink because my shower broke. Awful. Anyway.